Hello friends, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Why don't you go down and hit the like button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my episodes. For my fans and subscribers, welcome back. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Today's topic, Jehovah's Witnesses, Reorganization. Not much else I need to say. Let's get on with the video. After being released from the Atlanta Penitentiary, Rutherford embarked on a major overhaul of the organization. On May 4, 1919, he spoke to a convention in Los Angeles where he called for a convention of American and Canadian Bible students in Cedar Point, Ohio, where he released a new magazine, The Golden Age. In the fall of 1919, Bible students began distributing the Golden Age. Then in 1920, the Bible students who engaged in public evangelism started reporting their activities to Watchtower. Before 1918, only full-time evangelists, now known as pioneers, had reported their service activities. Rutherford wanted to expand proselytizing to an international stage. Thus, at the same time he was reorganizing evangelism at the congregation level, he also made drastic changes to the international organization, including establishing a Central European Watchtower branch. He also opened a branch in Palestine. In 1921, there were 18 foreign branches plus 12 American branches to organize foreign language groups. In the early 1920s, the Bible students grew in number, mainly due to the campaign, "Millions Now Living Will Never Die." Before going to prison in 1918, Rutherford gave a speech in California by that name, and in 1920, a book by that same name was published. What sparked interest, aside from the title, was that it proposed the Millenium would start in 1925, a projection based on calculations using Jubilee Years found in the book Three Worlds. For those of you who don't know what the Millennium is, it is the 1,000-year reign of Christ that's supposed to take place after the tribulation. Of course, it's nonsense. The Jubilee year described in Leviticus 25:8-24 was to be every 50th year. Traditional Jewish sources have stated that the counting began at the creation of the world. During this year, no agriculture was to take place. All land was to be given back to the original owner, and all slaves were to be set free. Interestingly, there is no archaeological evidence to suggest that a Jubilee year was ever held. Even though he took a more careful position in the Harp of God, writing that he could be wrong, he continued to proclaim his 1925 prophecy. As a result, many Bible students sold their homes and businesses, as well as giving up their jobs. Bible student farmers even refused to plant crops. So when 1926 inevitably rolled around, people were disappointed. Rutherford did not admit fault in the publications, but he did apologize at IBSA conventions. Even with this embarrassment, he continued preaching that the end was imminent. Thousands left the organization in the following years. After the debacle of 1925, Rutherford produced many new books and booklets, with his final work, Children, published in 1941. He also turned conventions into big events. Under Russell, these were important as gatherings for insiders, while Rutherford turned them into publicity campaigns. Between 1922 and 1928, Bible students held conventions that Jehovah's Witnesses today think fulfilled Revelations 8:1-9 and 11:15-19 as the seventh trumpet blasts. Rutherford gradually accrued more and more power over the organization. He had absolute power in Watchtower business affairs in 1917, and by 1925, absolute power in determining doctrine, as well as what went into the publications. He dismissed the editorial committee after dispute over the publication Birth of a Nation. At this time, congregations were still relatively independent under elected elders, but that would soon change. Rutherford asserted that the primary goal of the Bible students was to preach. Therefore, according to him, everything had to promote evangelism. Some Bible students came to believe this after being constantly pummeled by the message. In the 1920s, Rutherford claimed that all Christians had to preach in order to fulfill Matthew 24:14. Others maintained that the main goal was Christian sanctification, not proselytizing. Many did not accept Rutherford's position that everyone was required to preach, and local elected elders started to resent the society's growing power and manipulation of the local congregations. To gain complete control of the society, Rutherford had to do a lot of work, starting with destroying the concept of sanctification. To accomplish this, he wrote a Watchtower article that appeared on May 1st, 1926, in which he discredited the notion of sanctification. However, he knew that he would also have to discredit Russell and the idea that Russell had been the faithful and wise servant. He did this by claiming that sanctification was work righteousness. Kind of odd considering that the preaching work is also work righteousness, isn't it? In the January 1st, 1927 Watchtower, Rutherford wrote that the devil wanted to turn men away from God by tricking them into following another man, by whom he meant C.T. Russell. How ironic, since his sole purpose was to get the Bible students to follow him. In February of that year, Watchtower abandoned the teaching that Russell had been the servant and instead began teaching that the servant was the remnant of God's elect on earth. That is, the remnant of the 144,000. That's a bit ridiculous in light of the fact that the faithful and wise servant was a parable and that servant was singular. Before 1920, the church, or congregations, and the society were considered separate entities. In a bid to enhance his power even more, Rutherford changed the definition of society to include the entire Bible student community. Rutherford decided that some of the Bible students were too independent for his tastes, and so he called those the evil servants, the Judas class, and the Delilah class. In order to differentiate his followers from the rest of the Bible students, on July 26, 1931, He read a resolution before a convention at Columbus, Ohio, in which he changed the name from Bible students to Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, friends, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, press the subscribe button, and if you want to know when I come out with new content, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. My Twitter, Discord, email, and PayPal links are in the description, along with the source that I used for this episode. If you wish to get a hold of me, the best is Twitter, followed by email. Also, please leave comments in the comment section. Not only do I love hearing from you, but it triggers the YouTube algorithm. You may also leave requests down there as well. Keep learning and searching for truth. Here are a few videos from my library. If you have not watched them yet, go ahead and watch them and tell me what you think. Until next time, friends, stay safe and goodbye.